All right, this is factoring two. What I would like you to do right at the beginning, and I would like you to pause, and I would like you to try to factor these either by grouping or guess and check. I would like you to try it and pause. Okay, at least try the first one, and then I'll ask you to pause again. So try the first one. All right, so this is factors of 24 that add up to negative 11. Now, I've been writing all of the factors, but if they jump off the page and slap you in the face, like a negative 8 and a negative 3, that's what's going to get me 24. Then I don't need you to write them all for me. That was junior high when you had to list them all. Right now, I just need you to get the factors. So I'm going to take these factors and I'm going to put them in for 11 if I do this by grouping. So by grouping, I would write 6x squared minus 8x minus 3x plus 4. And I group the first two together. That would be a 2x. Oops, 3x minus, holy cow, start over. 3x minus 4, right? And then we just talked about that. I can't take anything out, but I want it to be a positive 3 because I need it to match this set of parentheses. So I need it to be a positive 3. So I'm going to take out a negative 1. That gives me 3x minus 4. Now they match. So my answer is 3x minus 4, because that's what the parentheses is, and 2x minus 1. So this one is a little harder by guess and check because more than one thing multiplies to be 6. But I know, okay, so 1 and 6 do. So this is where I am going to use this table. I know I need an 8 and a 3, so I know just using common sense, I'm going to use the 2x and the 3x because I need a 3. And so that means if I put a 1 here, then I have the 3, and I need to get a 4. So 4 would go here. And so I would guess and check, and I get this answer. If you are looking at my guess and check going, what did she do? Then you probably need to do grouping. Okay, grouping is something that most kids start with, and then the more you do these, like all semester, we're going to be factoring, so you might as well dig in and figure out how to factor right now, because we will still be factoring when we're doing logs. So you've just got to get good at it. So honestly, a lot of kids start with the grouping way and then slowly kind of move to it just kind of hits them in the head. Okay, so let's take a look at the next one. If I make this table, factors of a negative 36 that subtract to negative 5, the factors actually jump off the page and slap me in the face. It would be negative 9 and 4. If they don't, then just list 1, 2, 3 until you get them. Okay, I'm going to do this by guessing, checking first. Oops, that's definitely not a 3. Guess and check is step 2. I'm going to make my 2 sets of parentheses. Okay, here's the trick. The only thing in the whole wide world to give you 3 is 3 and 1. So I know I need a 3 and 1. And I need to get a 9 and a 4 in the middle. So if I put a 3 here, that gives me the 9, which I've got to get a 12. So puzzle piece, I put a 4 there because that gives me my 12x squared. Now I got to figure out signs. I need the 9 negative and the 4 positive. So I would have a positive 4. This is just a puzzle. I just kind of undid the pieces. I don't care if you ever factor by guessing. It doesn't matter, but it is a method that a lot of you have been taught. The other way is to do grouping, where you're going to put this value, the 9 and 4, into the middle for the 5. Okay, so I would go 12x squared minus 9x plus 4x minus 3. So what can I take out of the front two? I can take out a 3x. That leaves me with 4x minus 3. What can I take out of the back two? Nothing. So I have to take out something to hold the place value. And my parentheses better be the same or I messed up. So my answer is 4x minus 3 and then 3x plus 1, which is what I got by guessing. Okay, the last one. If I make my table, factors of a negative 48 that add up to 13. All right, those do not jump off the page and slap me in the face. So I'm going to do 1 and 48. That's 47. I'm going to do 2 and 24. That's 22. I'm going to do 3 goes into 48 16 times. Oh, there it is. Yay. So now I know what it is. Okay, so I'm going to do this one by grouping. So I'd have 6x squared minus 3x plus 16x minus 8. What can I take out of here? A 3x. That leaves me with a 2x minus 1. What can I take out of here? An 8. That leaves me with a 2x minus 1. So my answer is 2x minus 1 and 3x plus 8. Okay, so that would be the more difficult ones. Now, you can also take out what they call a GCF to start the problem. Okay, and so we're going to actually, just to look at this quick. So if you get a problem like this, we've been taught, I could take out an 8x, and that leaves me with a 2x plus 1. There are some delta maths, that's all you can do. So like on the next one, I can take out a 5x. That leaves me with a 4x plus 3. And on the last one, I can take out a 6w squared. That leaves me with a w squared minus 3. Okay? Oh, sorry. So you can do things that way as well. All right, so let's look what happens. Do you notice that I have this set of parentheses, and one's a minus and one's a plus? So let's look at this. It's called difference of squares. I won't test you on the name. You get 2x squared plus 2x minus 2x minus 4. What happens in the middle? Well, they cancel. Oops. So you get x squared minus 4. So it's difference of squares. That sign's always going to be negative because for them to cancel in the middle. So like on the next one, you have 9x squared plus 12x minus 12x minus 16. The middle cancels and you get 9x squared minus 16. This sign is always going to be a minus because the middle terms canceled. So let's take a look at this. In the middle here, this is different. Now they're both pluses. Now x squared plus 2x plus 2x plus 4. Now they're not canceling in the middle. They're doubling. So this is going to be x squared plus 4x plus 4. So you've got to know how to do these. These are going to be really important for completing the square. On this one, this is actually perfect squares. You've got to write it twice, 3x minus 1 and 3x minus 1. And then you would FOIL 9x squared minus 3x plus 1. So the back number is always going to be a positive because the middle is doubling. And so there's my answer. Okay. So if you look at this, you can tell this is perfect squares because this last number has to be a squared. And the middle number on this one, since it's an x squared, it would be 8 and 8. I could guess and check on this one. If you want to do grouping, you can, but I really don't feel like it. I would accept that for an answer, but Delta Math might want you to do this. And this is actually going to be what we're going to do later on. Okay, and the next one, if you look, it has a minus sign in the middle, which telling you, and it is a perfect square, so you're going to do x minus 8 and x plus 8. Okay, the next problem is a little bit harder to see. You might not notice it's perfect squares, but you will get it when you get the table. Factors of 36 that add up to negative 12. Isn't that a negative 6 and a negative 6? Whenever you get these and they're the same, that means you really should look at the problem because it must have been perfect squares. So this must have been 2x because 2 times 2 is 4. And it must have been 3 because 3 times 3 is 9. And I want a negative 12, so I'm going to put a negative sign. If you want to do this one by grouping, you can. Now the next one's kind of a trick question. We just talked about pulling out a GCF. If I take out a 9x, that would leave me with 9x minus 1. That is not difference of squares. That's just your answer. So you're finished. Okay? All right. So if I were to make a table from where I start, that's going to be big. Factors of 90, 135, that's a big number. But if you look, they're all divisible by 3. Isn't this a much nicer problem to work with? You've just got to make sure that the 3 stays on your final answer. And I do think this one works nicely. You might not even have to really draw the table because you can kind of do this in your head. Factors of a negative 15 that add up to negative 2. That's x minus 5 and x plus 3. Yeah, I did that in my head, and I would feel like you should be able to too as well. You've done a lot of factoring. Look at the next one. I could do factors of 80 because that would be my outside, but all of them are divisible by 2. So now I'm looking for factors of 20 that subtract to 8 because it's a negative 20. So wouldn't that be 10 and a negative 2? So my final answer would have a 2 on it, and then it would have x plus 10 and x minus 2. Okay, so that would be my answer. Then on the last one, I could do factors of 9 times 12, but I do believe they're all divisible by 3. This one's a little harder. So this is factors. If I look at, I know my final answer is going to have a 3 on it. So I'm going to write that over here. So if I look at this, this is factors of 12. I'll use a darker color. Factors of 12 that add up to 7. Wouldn't that be 3 and 4? So I'm going to ignore this 3 out front. I'm going to do the middle. 3x squared plus 3x plus 4x plus 4. I just put this in for my 7 because that's what would give me my factors. I can take out a 3x, and that leaves me with an x plus 1. And I can take out a 4, and that leaves me with an x plus 1. Sorry, I paused because I forgot I had written the answer over here with the 3 in front. So one of my factors is x plus 1, and the other is 3x plus 4. Now, a lot of you are going to forget the 3 in front, and that's why I paused, because I was nervous I had forgotten to write it. If you forget it, if you're graphing, that makes a difference. We've talked about what this will do for a graph. So you do have to have that 3 in front on your final answer. Okay, these are some grouping examples, just some more with 4 terms. So here I look at the front. I can take out a y, so that's x plus 2. Here I can take out a 3, so it leaves me with x plus 2. My parentheses should be the same. So my answer is x plus 2 and y plus 3. So that is my answer. Okay. So go ahead and hit pause, and I would like you to try the second number 1. Group the first 2, group the second 2. Hit pause. So if I take the first 2, I'd have 2x squared. That would give me 2x, sorry, I didn't mean that. 2x plus 1. Now look at the next 2. There's really nothing in common, but I want the parentheses to say 2x plus 1, and those both have negatives. So I'm going to have to take out a negative sign to get 2x plus 1 because I need the parentheses to match. So my answer is 2x plus 1 and 2x squared minus 1. So that's my answer. Okay, go ahead and hit pause. I would like you to try both of these. Take a second, hit pause, see if you can do it. So if I look at the front one, I can take out an x squared. That would leave me with 2x minus 3. If I look at the back one, I can't take out anything, so that would be a negative 1. Now, I hope you guys, if you have this as an answer, this is going to give you problems on Delta Math because it's not completely right. Because this is still factorable. It'd be like if you gave me 2/4 for an answer. That still can be reduced to 1/2. This can still be reduced to x minus 1, x plus 1. There are a few of those later in Delta Math. They're not like in factories 1, 2, 3, 4. It's like in factoring 9. So you should be good. You should slowly kind of get better at this. Okay, so try the next one. I can take out, if I look, I can't take out anything. But I could reorder this. Look at this. If I flip these around, minus ax squared, and then plus ay minus 2y. Out of the first 2, I can take out an x squared. That leaves me with 2 minus a. And here, if I take out a 1, that leaves me with a minus 2. We need to kind of discuss this. Again, this is like factoring 10, but I'm showing you. Those are not the same. Because I want 2 minus a, I'm going to have to take out a negative sign here because now that does give me 2 minus a and x squared minus 1. And again, that still can be factored. So on Delta Math, on the later assignments, you're going to have to continue factoring. Okay, so here's some practice. I would like you to hit pause and try it, and I'm just going to write the answer. So this is factors of 30 that add up to negative 11. I don't even need a table. That's x minus 5 and x minus 6 because factors, that gives me a positive 30 and a negative 11. Try that one. Pause. Okay, factors of a negative 21 that subtract a negative 4. So I'd have a negative 21 and 1, that's a negative 20. 2 doesn't go in. 3. Negative 7 and 3, that gives me negative 4. Since it's an x squared, I can just write x minus 7 and x plus 3. And that is my answer if I FOIL it out. So try that one. Pause. Factors of, if you want to do it this way, negative 12, that add up to negative 4. My factors would be a negative 6 and 2. So, and since it has an x squared, I would just do x minus 6 and x plus 2. So try that one. Pause. Factors of 2 that add up to 3 would be x plus 1 and x plus 2. Those are my factors of 2 that add up to 3, and I'm done. Okay, try this one. I would start by taking out a 5, so that's x squared minus 7x plus 12. Now, this is really easy because factors of 12 that add up to a negative 7 are a negative 3 and a negative 4. And if you do that, it makes it fairly easy. Try that one. Again, I can take out a 2, x squared minus 4x minus 45. And then it's just an x squared. So I'm going to say x, and factors of a negative 45 that add up to 4 are negative 9 and 4. Okay, so this is what, these are like factoring 1, 2, and 3. They don't start to get hard until later on. All of your factoring is due on October 6th. Do not put this off. You have a ton of time right now to work or whatever you have left. So you would go into Delta Math and you are going to start with factoring 1. Please, if you get stuck on one, please make sure you either take a picture of it and write it down because you can ask me questions in class, or you can take it to the tutors, but you have to figure out how to factor. This is the one skill that can make or break you in this class. So you have to do your factoring practice.